Good day, it's Mrs. Davis. I wanted to share a book with you that is about one of my favorite places, and it's called Africa. And this author, Alan Fowler, has written some nonfiction facts about Africa to help us learn about it, since sometimes we can't visit the places that we'd like to see, so we can read about them. And that is what I love about books. They can bring lots of places to you. The biggest pieces of land on Earth are called continents. There are 7 continents. So here is Africa highlighted in red. We live here in South America. We've also talked about Asia, which is right next door. Africa is the second largest continent. More than 50 countries make up Africa. So here we see a global view, terrain view of Africa there in our photograph. You can find Africa on a globe. This is a globe. First, look for the equator. The equator is an imaginary line around the center of the Earth. So here this girl's got her finger on the equator on her globe. The equator goes through the middle of Africa. Africa is just below the continent of Europe. The Mediterranean Sea separates Africa from Europe. So here we see the large continent, Africa, and all those 50 countries inside of it. And here's Asia that we've talked about, and Europe is right above. And like they said, there's the Mediterranean Sea that is separating those 2 continents. Oh, and here's that equator they were talking about. That goes straight through, and that's the hottest place on Earth along that line. The Sahara Desert takes up most of the top or north of Africa. It is the world's biggest desert. Sand, rocks, and mountains cover the Sahara. Only a few trees and shrubs grow there. So you can see in the photograph how dry it is, and we can see sand and rocks, some mountains in the back, just a tiny little shrub there. It's very dried out. Mongooses live in the Sahara Desert. Here we see those mongoose. Owls live there too. They have owls just like we do here in America. The grasslands are below or south of the Sahara. Zebras and elephants live in the grasslands. They're called grasslands because they're wide open spaces of grass. Birds such as ostriches also live in the grasslands. Ostriches are too heavy to fly. Here is a picture of those ostriches. Big, big birds. Gorillas live in Africa's rainforests, but people have cut down some of these rainforests. If we do not protect the gorillas, they may disappear. So we've got a key word here, protect, and that means that we need to take care of the gorillas and their homes and keep those rainforests up and not cut them down so that the gorillas have a place to live and things to eat. The Serengeti National Park is a safe home to many African animals. You see the beautiful, gorgeous giraffe and a lion family here. Some Africans live in busy cities, like this one. Got lots of buildings and lights and bridges, like we do. Other Africans live in small villages. So here is a photograph of a village. We've heard about some villages when we talked about Asia also. And so here we see those homemade houses there. And families live there too. Many people work in offices, stores, or schools. Some work on farms, in mines, or on the grasslands herding the cattle. And this keyword herding means to keep the cattle together and lead them to a certain direction. This is a photograph of someone working in a mine where he may be drilling for coal or other natural resources that grow in the earth. This photograph is of someone who looks like she may be working in a store. There are big rivers in Africa. The Nile is the longest river in the world. So here we have a photograph of the Nile River, and there's lots of boats on there. If you visit Africa, be sure to stop at Victoria Falls. You can hear the roar of this big waterfall from 20 miles away. This place is definitely going to be on my bucket list. I would love to go see such a beautiful sight there in Africa. So now that you've heard all these great facts about Africa, you are able to see ways that Africa is like America and ways that Africa is different from America. And I encourage you to have those conversations and talk about why both places are important to our world. Bye for now.